Good.
Am I interrupting your tea break?
Oh, hello. Yes. Yeah. My cricket mug from Lord's.
Oh, very nice.
I
Are you a
didn't
member
buy
of...
I didn't buy it at Lord's because they're about £12 at Lord's. I've seen them in the shop. I spent 50p at the Burstock Blackdown Broadwindsor Christmas Fair off the famous stall at the back of the hall.
Yet another thing we won't do this year.
Yet another thing we won't do this year. That's right. But never mind. Life is thus, isn't it, at the moment?
It is.
Are you looking forward to lockdown again?
No
Sunday morning lie-ins, no 8 o'clock services.
Well, I'm looking forward to that element of it.
No sermons for Sunday.
Although, as one of our retired clergy so kindly offered, didn't he, to back off the online rota so that we could make sure we were.
I think he was being very kind to us. Because. But yeah, you weren't buying any of that. I could see straight away.
No. I am. I'm always okay at not having to lead worship. That's a terrible thing to say.
And I've been looking again. The updates, the Remembrance Sunday updates.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen them?
What, the ones we were talking about this morning about being able to be by a cenotaph with one person or something and sing one verse of the national anthem.
I was corrected over my use of the word cenotaph as opposed to war memorial.
Is cenotaph only the cenotaph in London? You
can have cenotaphs, I guess, elsewhere. But Philip, one of our erstwhile colleagues in the Deanery, ex-police chief in London, he reminded me that a cenotaph has no names on it. It just has they've fallen.
Excellent. And a war memorial does have names on.
Has names on it, as in each village generally.
Now, I've been to Weymouth to do a funeral today, and I drove through Portisham, where there was a beautiful display of poppies on there around their village green. But they are a doubly thankful village.
Yes, because they had no one died, did they? One of only 4 villages in England.
Yeah. So I thought of them as I drove through, thinking they don't have a war memorial because there was no one lost from their village, which is amazing, really.
It is. Well, the Beaminster war memorial in the square, as opposed to the one in the church, looks very posh because the town council put grass around it.
It does. I saw it. As I came back through town on my way back from Weymouth, I saw.
The point was the children were going to go and lay a cross in there from the school.
Yeah.
With one for each of the names on the cross, 52 of the names in total. But they haven't been allowed to do so because of what's going on. But they did make a lovely kind of collage of cut-out poppies with a name on, and that's been affixed to the said memorial for the time being.
Great.
And then next Wednesday we are allowed to gather at the memorial, and that will be wheeled on to say the prayer and the blessing.
Excellent. So that's in the square at 11 o'clock with appropriate social distancing and a mask.
And everything else. I don't know we'll sing the national anthem. I don't think we will. And we won't sing one other song so long as it's not longer than 2 minutes. So that straight away puts out For All the Saints, doesn't it, really?
Yes, that's definitely longer than 2 minutes.
Definitely 2 minutes.
Imagine if we get the same instruction for Christmas, like 3 days before Christmas, the instructions come down that you may sing one carol that is no longer than 2.5 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
What would you choose?
Little Donkey.
No, it's too early for the donkey joke. Actually, I'll tell you something. My donkey puppet is still in St Mary's Academy because he was taken in for a Palm Sunday basket, which is one of the last things I did before lockdown, was go in and tell the Palm Sunday story to reception in St Mary's. And he's been there ever since. I have no idea if he's still there. I hope he is. I hope he hasn't got thrown away or something. So I haven't got a donkey puppet for you to mock.
While funds could stretch to a sweep puppet, I can't say they'll stretch to a donkey puppet ever.
Well, the other thing that I've seen on my clergy forums is Aldi, which we don't really have an Aldi near us, but Aldi have a very nice angel hand puppet this year as part of their Christmas collection. So
Dorchester.
Yeah, I'm not going to Dorset just to go
and
to
you pasteled it today.
Actually, I did. But as I haven't been in a supermarket since February, I don't really want to go.
Well, I'm going to crematorium next week, so I could pop into the Aldi.
Oh, no, please don't catch COVID. Please don't catch COVID just for an angel glove puppet. That would be bad.
If the Lord wants me to catch COVID, I will catch it.
Oh, now you sound like a mad, crazy fool.
No, I'm just being honest. I think the Lord has got a shield of protection around me, edge of protection around me.
Stop! We'll have to cut you off the airways if you're going to say something.
It's evangelical in me starting to show, you see.
That's not good. That's not good. Well, anyway, you might accuse it of being sentimental nonsense, like the ribbons tied to Broad Windsor Church Gate.
It's a mess I've seen to me. It's like locking padlocks to bridges.
I like that too. I think that's lovely.
Really?
Oh, well, that's why we work together so well, is because we're so completely different.
What do you mean? Wise virgins, read, please.
They're not virgins.
Let's have a pause.
They're bridesmaids. Somebody wrote in an email this week that our pre-pause and...
according to me.
What?
That's not in Matthew's Gospel. I've just looked.
Just before we read Matthew's Gospel, someone wrote in an email this week that our pre-pause banter was BAFTA-worthy.
It was. They did. I saw that.
Hi, David. Anyway, right. Matthew 25, verses 1 to 13, which could be entitled Wise and Foolish Bridesmaids, or in a more ancient translation might be entitled Wise or Foolish Virgins. So, then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, "Look, here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise replied, "No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You'd better go to the dealers and buy some for yourself." And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the other bridesmaids came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I do not know you. Keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour."
I think this is a bit of a pre-COVID lockdown story.
This is exactly what was happening in Scylla and Camilla today.
Have you got your oil topped up ready? Because it could be too late.
Yeah. I've got lots of oil, actually. I bought it at a bargain price in the summer.
Jolly good. We don't have oil anymore, thankfully.
Thank the Lord, yes. Anyway.
Yeah, but no, I think it's a bit of a story of being locked down. I mean, I often wonder, when he said their lamps, what do you think their lamps look like or were made of or whatever?
I've always in my head had them as a sort of like a bit like an Aladdin's lamp, sort of, but probably made of pottery rather than metal. Yeah, exactly. Like a sort of slipper-shaped one.
Okay.
With the oil in it and the wick kind of floating in the oil.
I wonder if it's just bits of rag on a stick.
Do you reckon?
Could have been, I don't know.
Well, the first century scholars who watched this video would no doubt be able to send us a picture, perhaps.
Of the amphora.
Yeah. Yes, because they probably excavated a few lamps.
Yeah. No, I've got the vision of steel. I keep dipping your wick in it to keep it alight, otherwise it dries out or burns up. You know. However, these bridesmaids, which according to the little E at the side of the word bridesmaids, could also have been interpreted virgins, obviously had kind of overlooked the excitement of a a pending party to get the top up they required.
I think it's odd, isn't it? Because the wise ones, you'd have thought they might have been a bit more generous. They weren't having any of that sharing nonsense, were they?
No.
But there we are. And also, I'm always struck by the fact that the dealers are open at midnight.
That's because it's dark and you need oil in the dark.
Yeah, but okay. I'd be hard pushed to get oil at midnight in West Dorset.
Because you've got electricity.
Well, I'm glad that first century Jerusalem had access to 24/7 shopping in a way that West Dorset doesn't. That's fine.
No, I mean, there's all kinds of little things you pick up like that, because that is very unusual to think that could happen.
What's this really about, David?
If I knew, I would have written a commentary on this particular passage. I've read a number of things over the years from commentaries to suggest what it could be about. Something there is, as we said before we started to record, we're now in this kingdom season, which we now call it, which we came about at the beginning of common worship, really. And we have this period between All Saints, All Souls Tide, Remembrance Sunday, and 3 more weeks, which culminates in the kingdom itself. And it's all part of looking to end times at the end of a set of looking. Because the next set of stories, of course, are Advent, are about preparing for what is to come in the new life of Christ. Yeah. So this is preparing us to look to whatever. And this is one of those stories about sin, how we should be living our lives, what we need to do to be prepared for what is going to come at the end. How prepared are our lives for us to come to an end? And in this particular story, one of the commentaries I read some time ago suggested that actually the bridesmaids probably weren't that interested in the bride or the wedding. It was the party they were more concerned about. And they weren't really good friends. They kind of, you had lots of bridesmaids, similar to the public mourning in those days, where you had lots of professional wailers. You had lots of girls who followed on, supposedly lighting the way, ready for the event. And I don't think it's about being in light or dark in that story. It's not about the night time. It's about this thing about, are they? If you're not prepared, you're going to be part of the darkness that is to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the fact that, so the second coming, which is what Christians believe will happen again, that Christ will come again and restore all of creation, and there'll be a new heaven and a new earth, the stuff that comes from Revelation. And we live in the tension of the now and the not yet, the eschatological tension of the now and not yet. So basically we live post-resurrection but pre-second coming. Yeah. And so there's this sense that the kingdom is unfurling, and we already live in God's kingdom, but there's a point where it will be fully revealed. And I guess for me, there is this sense of there might be a time when it's too late.
Yep.
And that we can't always bank on knowing when that time will be. Because if we believe that something about the gift of eternal life, not internal life, that's very different, eternal life is contingent on us repenting and saying sorry for the sins that we've done and living God's way now, could there be a point where we run out of time for that moment? And that's quite, for me, that's quite a challenging issue, actually, because I'm always speaking about how generous God is and how loving God is and how forgiving God is, and how we were just talking about, when people are coming to the end of their lives, sometimes there's this sense of, am I good enough to be in heaven? And we will always say to people, it's not about being good enough. It's about just having faith and following Jesus. And that's the gift of what takes you into eternal life. But I don't like to think that there's a point past which you can't get in. I find that quite hard. And as you would suggest, I guess earlier you were saying, well, we leave that up to God about who's in, who's out. But then there is a sense of urgency for us that maybe we do need to get ourselves right with God. We need to come to him and say, actually, I am willing to live your way and I do want to. Oh, he's disappeared.
I'm here, don't worry.
Come back. Whew.
Yeah.
Anyway, over to you.
I went into the darkness. I was unprepared. I wasn't ready.
You didn't have your light with you.
I didn't have my light with me. I mean, I think part of that thing about not knowing the hour, neither keep awake. Therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. I think that's part of the crucial thing about looking towards end times, and God's always telling us that the new second coming is going to happen as well. The first coming has got to happen. And as we spoke about, I think the other week, the Jews still believing that the Messiah hasn't come, so they haven't had the first coming, never mind the second coming. And I think that's Matthew actually saying to them in some ways, if you're not ready for it, or you're not aware, or you're not open to it, and all you're doing is sleeping and not whatever, then you won't recognise Jesus when he comes. So be ready, have everything you need. Don't run out of oil. Don't worry about the party. Be ready, because Jesus is coming when you're least expecting him. It's like the other story, isn't it? About the burglars coming. If I'd known when they were coming, etc., etc. And that's a similar type of story. Be ready, because Jesus is going to come. And in 7 weeks' time, he's going to come as a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we were having a lay worship leader training course last night. It was all about the Christian year, the seasons of the church. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense as you head towards Advent, which is, of course, the beginning of the new year for us in the church, that the run into Advent is about the expectation of God coming again. Yep. Because in Advent, although we're preparing to hear the story of, as you said, the first coming, the incarnation, but we live post-incarnation, so we're always looking at that that's always in the past, right. But we're looking ahead to the fact that Jesus will come again, and we don't know the hour all the time, and we just live in that hopeful expectation.
Yeah.
But also there's that element of personal for us, isn't there? I mean, I've done a funeral today. You've been visiting families where people are coming to the end of their lives. It's very much part of our life as clergy, that we're around death and new life and resurrection and all that all the time. And the truth is we never know when that is round the corner for us. And it's something about grasping now, because we don't know when it's too late, isn't it? And so there's that truth, that essential truth about human life in there as well, is that you ought to be living it now, not expecting something to change and to be better in the future, because you just never know when the time's coming.
I think that's part of when we talk about the righteousness of faith. How do we make sure that we are right with God? Because if we're not right with him, we're not able to meet him at the place that we need to be at the time that he does come. And I think that's all part of this preparing. It's we as faithful followers of Christ, we have to be at all times. Our hearts have got to be ready, prepared, and not afraid of what is to come. And I was saying this to the person I've been visiting this afternoon. It's not about being afraid, because there's nothing we can do. God will choose the right time and the place that suits him, because he'll know when everything is complete and it's the right moment. And as I said on Sunday, it doesn't matter whether that life was a few months inside us and the baby may have come early and died, whether it's a 21-year-old or 112. To God, the right time comes when he feels it's right, and the purpose of that life has been fulfilled in us. And I think this is a little bit about that.
Yeah, we might not like the timing.
No.
And that's okay, Because I think you said on Sunday at our All Souls Remembrance service, and I actually certainly said at the funeral today, there's never a good time to die because it's always hard and it's always about loss. But the timing's out of our control, really. So being ready and being prepared and living life now and being right with God is really important. And
this story is about being in the right, about being right, being ready, being prepared. And I use that quote I found of Dr. Thomas Fuller, that well-known theologian of Broad Windsor.
He'd never have tied ribbons on the church gate, would he?
I know he would not. No, I think I knew he may have done, because he may have been part of his books of the worthy. So I think he was called. But he wrote that wonderful thing I've read. I've used many times, but never ever in the past associated with him. And suddenly it came home to me. Of course, here's this person who we follow in the footsteps of 400 years later, who wrote that actually dying is as natural as living. Being prepared for the coming, the new coming, should be for us as Christians as natural as living now, because we have a desire to be with God in eternity. Absolutely. And eternity starts now. Eternity started the moment I was conceived. Well, before that, actually, but there we are. Yeah, well, yes, but for me... Yeah. That's the whole point about eternity, is it doesn't start anywhere, or indeed finish anywhere, but there we are. Yeah, exactly, goes on and on and on. So, yeah, a lovely passage. Bridesmaids, you need them. I've never been a bridesmaid, you'd be pleased to know. You have? I have, yes, I have been a bridesmaid multiple times. The dresses were never fabulous, I have to say. But there we are. With the hair for the bridesmaid. With the hair for the bridesmaid, you see. It looks good. It's really good. I feel a bit sad talking about bridesmaids, given that no one can get married now, but there we are. At the moment, I've got this booking for the 23rd of December. They're hanging in there. They're hanging in there. Let's hope. Yeah, hanging there. But yes, there we are. But, it's just so as you do know, viewer, as we come to the end of this wonderful production, so to speak, Reverend Neary and I haven't recorded this back to back. She just happens to be wearing the same dress as she was wearing last week. She was worried about it, but I said I would put it straight that we are sat, as you can see, sadly, 4 miles apart, because we can't be in each other's gardens for the next month. No, but hopefully, and it'll be too cold probably by the time we get to December. But we might manage it for a special Christmas celebration. It's our 1 year anniversary very soon. It is 49 today, isn't it? Is it 49 today? So 3 to go. 3 to go. Yeah. Bless you, David. Thank you very much. And you can watch us on. Sorry. You can watch us on. Oh yes. Also, I've just forgotten that. It's more important that you know this now, because now we're back in lockdown. It's a bit harder. So churches should still be open for private prayer if they have been open. But sadly, public worship is suspended for the next 4 weeks. However, there is always worship on our website every week. You can find it on beaminsterteamchurches.org. It's usually there by Saturday lunchtime, ready for Sunday. And there will be a Remembrance Sunday service this week led by Chris Luckcraft. And you can find us on social media at Beaminster Team on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And we are open all the time. The church is not shut. We're always here. And if you need us, you only have to call. And if you want to join us for our Thursday community prayers, Thursday night on Zoom, let Jo or myself know and we'll send you the link. We will send you the link. Yeah, absolutely. And Gin Church is coming back on Thursday evening. There's more information about that on Facebook. Again, if you want to join, you need to email. I'm going to start Mess Church in a few weeks' time. Mess? It's the men's version of Gin Church. Surely beer would be better. Oh, right. Yeah, Harry. The comms man can come. Beer church. That's the thing. Excellent. Yeah. Thanks, David, for your time, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye.